Hey, it's Jeff Summers with Watch You Know, and I'm excited to share with you my thoughts and opinions on the Tudor Black Bay 41. I do want to let you know that my channel offers something a little different. I actually wear these watches for several weeks at least, and in many cases much more, so I can give you my opinion on how it feels to live with the watch. And that's different than just opening it up and looking at the watch and after 5 minutes putting out a review. So anyways, if you like the video, please subscribe, and let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Alrighty, so I've been really waiting for this review for a long time, as this is one of the watches that I have truly admired for many years. And it is the Tudor Black Bay Heritage 2nd generation. And when I say 2nd generation, I mean it is the 2nd time it has been offered in this burgundy color. We're going to talk about some of the difference between the 1st generation and 2nd generation, as well as give you a thorough review on this incredible timepiece. And epic timepiece, may I add to that. This Tudor is made of 316L stainless steel. It's 41 millimeters in diameter. And we will talk about the movement, but due to the size of the movement, this watch has a thickness of 14.8 millimeters and a lug to lug of 50 millimeters, 50.1 millimeters to be exact. Has this black dial with a red unidirectional bezel insert, and that bezel insert is made of aluminum. It is a 60-click bezel. When you ask the diving community what they prefer, generally it's the 60-click seems to work best for diving. Sapphire domed crystal. And as I did mention before, there are 2 generations of this watch. The first was from 2012 to 2016, and then they used an ETA movement and switched to this in-house movement, which we'll talk about in depth in a few minutes, but just to mention it, it's an MT5602, which has been used since 2016. This watch has some great lume, and Tudor is using C3 Superluminova. The crown is a screw-down crown, of course, being a diving watch, and it's really well done with an engraved Tudor rose, and we have this maroon burgundy color that is in the insert of the crown, or the crown stem rather. 200 meters of water resistance. And you see I have it on this leather strap by Ritchie Straps. And of course you can interchange watch straps and bracelets. I have actually 2 bracelets here. And the first bracelet is an aftermarket bracelet by Uncle Straps. And the second is the original. This aftermarket bracelet is a Jubilee bracelet, but if you've been following my channel, I'm not really a fan of Jubilee bracelets unless they're on small, I wouldn't say dainty, but smaller than 39 or 40 millimeter watches that are dress watches. It's just my preference. And I can appreciate a good design, but it's just not my thing. So if I was purchasing the watch, I would of course go with either what comes with it, which is the Oyster bracelet, or put it on something like this strap from Ritchie Straps, which I think it really suits the watch quite nicely. The big issue with the bracelet is the faux rivets. And I'm talking about the original Oyster bracelet that comes with this Tudor Heritage. The tops of the link bars are just designed to look like rivets. They're not actually rivets. They're only on the fixed links, standard exposed screws to size the watch. True rivet bracelets are insanely difficult to size. So you are hard pressed to really see that in many watches these days. And I definitely prefer screws on bracelets. Just so much easier to work with. Anyways, this watch is available in 3 different color versions. In addition to this maroon color, there's a blue or a black bezel that's available. And new, these go for about $3,900. You can probably pick one up much less than that if you're fortunate. Actually, I did see one on Joma Shop for a little bit over $3,000, and that would be a great bargain to find something like that. Of course, it depends on the condition of the watch, especially obviously if you're buying used. Now, you can tell the newer generation from the older generations because they're thicker. The MT5602 movement is thicker than the ETA that they used previously, and that's odd because an in-house movement such as this MT5602, which is made by Tudor, you would think would be thinner, but that's the way Tudor did it. Now, the older versions or the first generation, as I'll call it, an easy way to quickly tell is the writing is almost like in a smiley face. It's curved, and it says it says rotor self-winding. And the newer ones here, chronometer officially certified, which obviously the watch is COSC, certified chronometer watch, being the highest standards are placed upon this watch. Speaking about the movement, it is a Tudor MT5602, 70 hours of power reserve. Wow. And has an incredibly smooth sweeping hand because the movement vibrates at 28,800 vibrations per hour, which is essentially 8 clicks per second. So it's so smooth. And the rotor system is bidirectional, which makes things a little bit easier for people that maybe are not so mobile. Because of the bidirectional, it's a lot easier to self-wind. And of course, you can hand wind the watch. It is hacking. And of course, being certified chronometer, you're going to only lose at most between 4 seconds of time loss per day and 6 seconds of time gain per day, which is outstanding. I'm going to tell you the things that I like most about this watch and the few things that I don't care for. And it's really just one. Let's start with that. The watch is pretty thick. I would prefer it to be a bit thinner. It is a huge presence on the wrist, and you definitely feel the weight of the watch and the girth of it. It's a 41 millimeters, but it wears at least that big. And if you're a larger person, this is going to suit you much better than I think if you are, very small and have a very thin wrist. But what I've noticed after wearing it for a while, I tend to become less aware of the watch presence on my wrist as far as the size. And it's not anything too crazy big for sure. It's only a 41 millimeter, but the thickness is something that I think could have been a little bit better. That's the only thing negative I have to say really about the watch. It's not terribly negative either. I love the snowflake hands. I've always loved the snowflake hands. They are beautiful. And Tudor was the first to come along with that design, and it's kind of the trademark of the Tudor brand. And speaking of the Tudor brand, that's another real reason why I love this watch. I've always been an admirer of Tudor, and I don't like it better than Rolex, but I think that Tudor really is an outstanding company that really, for the value compared to what Rolex is, especially in this Rolex bubble, which we seem to be coming out of, might actually be the better value. And in fact, I would say truly, in my opinion, Tudor's much better value. Not the same, but both great watches, of course. And Tudors have been trusted by the U.S. Navy SEALs and the French Marine Nationale. So when people's lives are on the line, they have chosen officially to use the Tudor watch in the past. It's an incredibly quiet movement. I hear the word strap monster thrown around in the watch community, and this certainly is that. You can put it on just about anything and it seems like it's going to look great. And I have seen it on so many variations. It's just a tremendously beautiful watch. The Super Luminova is bright and it lasts. I just adore this timepiece. And I want to thank Eric Monroe of Watch Me Watch 9 for lending me this timepiece. He's lent me a few other ones in the past, the most recent being the Tissot C-Star 1000 and a Laurier Gemini. So let's help Eric get to 2,000 followers, and he may already be there by now by the time that this video is released. Also, you can check me out on Instagram and TikTok as I try to approach 10,000 followers on Instagram. You can see all those links, including Eric's Watch Me Watch 9 link below in the description. So that's my thoughts on this Tudor Black Bay Heritage. Hey, thanks for watching that video on this Tudor Black Bay. I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, if you did, consider subscribing to the channel. Also, check out Eric Monroe's Watch Me Watch 9 Instagram. Thanks so much, Eric, for letting me borrow this awesome timepiece. Have a great day, great evening, whatever time it is, and I'll see you in that next watch review. Bye.